Hello everyone, this is Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the notes section below for important links. I post a new video here every day, and every day is defined different ways, depending where you are, because right now it's like, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning here in Zimbabwe, and for you guys back home, it's Saturday night, you're partying at 11 o'clock. Anyway, I'm still working hard here in Zimbabwe, trying to spread the Bitcoin word, getting ready for Mozambique next week. Well, this week, now it's Sunday here, but Saturday night where you guys are. So there is still some turbulence in the Bitcoin market, as I said yesterday, and lo and behold, it jumps below $700. There's going to be a lot of things happening before the inauguration, which is in January, and some are going to be good, some are going to be bad. Bitcoin will have its good days, Bitcoin's going to have its bad days, so don't panic. It like Tone Vays has said, it probably will go down to $650 again. So right now it's in the high 690s, right? So if by the time I post this video, who knows where it's going to be? It changes all the time. So be patient, people. But exciting times. The stuff going on in India. I really hope Bitcoin spreads to India. I'll just say that. Anyway, Monero is number 3 in trading volume. It's having a great few days. It's back over 0.01 BTC. It's back over $7. And one has to wonder why this is happening. And obviously it's mostly speculator fueled. And the speculators who were probably in Zcash pumping that up are coming back into Monero. And I just wonder if Monero, even that Zcash is maybe more hype than reality, that this Monero thing is a lot more solid than people might think who jumped into Zcash. Anyway, speculators do things because they do things, but those are both anonymous coins. It's clear that some of the Zcash and Bitcoin money is going back into Monero, and who knows where Monero is going to go. The more I think about it, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, I think anonymous coins will survive in some form. I mean, at least for the next few years, and that's more than just short term, that's medium term. And I know Tone Vays likes to say they're all going to zero but Bitcoin. I'm not going to say that. I'm not that much of a Bitcoin maximalist. I think these anonymous coins have something to them. Bitcoin will have an anonymous layer on top of it, but Bitcoin has a lot of other things to do before it has to worry about an anonymous layer. I mean, I'm out here in the field just trying to teach people about Bitcoin, okay? So it doesn't have to become anonymous just yet. Let these other coins experiment. So good luck to Monero, number 3 in trading volume right now. I'm not going to make a prediction or anything about it, but it's not going away anytime soon. So I know there are a lot of Monero fans out there, and they're hardcore and they watch this. So there you go. The Zcash thing I'm staying away from. I'll just say that. Bitcoin Group had a show on Friday. I'll link to it below. It was 2 hours long. It had some major issues in it. I mean, I noticed some of the guys who comment on my video comment on their videos, and usually I like the Bitcoin Group. It was way too long. Thomas, the host, he's a statist at times. He really is, and he thinks these laws are going to make a difference, and people. I mean, it's kind of. He's a statist sometimes, and it's sad to see. It really is sad to see. And I mean, maybe sad, it's not disappointing to see. So it kind of influenced the tone of the show when they're talking about politics most of the show. And you know, this Trump thing is important for Bitcoin, but he doesn't give a darn about Bitcoin, okay? And it kind of made it seem like he did. He doesn't care. Who cares? What will happen to Bitcoin will happen to Bitcoin because of certain things, rumors, and what the market thinks about what Donald Trump is going to do with influence the stock market. Because Donald Trump really can't do specific things as president. Remember, he's not a dictator. There's like there's a Congress, and then there's private entities that control their own businesses. So he's not king of the world, and and Tom's kind of got into some social issues, and I probably shouldn't get into it either. But I'll just say this: if people are angry, then they're angry. Don't destroy people's private property. I mean, great. There's going to be a new president. He isn't president yet. Obama's still president. If you're a young person, focus on something productive. I guess it's just not productive. And for me to even talk about it is becoming a complete waste of time. And then there was talk of aliens from outer space on the show, which was very disappointing to hear. It's embarrassing, and it's just not good. When there's certain Bitcoin people who are complete, who are not part of mainstream society whatsoever, which is cool and everything, but Bitcoin is not something. It's something for everyone, but it should not be associated with just theories that are out of this world. And when we start to present Bitcoin with things that are just with topics that are just ludicrous, it's not good for Bitcoin. It's just not good for the Bitcoin community. Again, I'm not in Los Angeles, wink wink, or California, living the good life. I'm out here in Africa, okay? I don't think aliens from outer space, they don't care about aliens from outer space here, okay? They stand in line for hours to get money out of the bank. This is what the Bitcoin community, we should try to talk about financial aspects and social aspects of Bitcoin, how it can fix these things, how it can help the wealth of poor nations and poor people. And so when we get off on these rants, and then someone, the mainstream media, you see how they work. They're just going to pick up on the sound bites that deal with aliens and Bitcoin, and it's not going to help the Bitcoin community very much. Anyway, I've gone off on a rant. I just wanted to say that about the Bitcoin group. And it's important to, I usually am very positive about the Bitcoin group show, and it just shows that I'm not, I pay attention to what they say. I'm not positive for everyone all the time, and even Tone Vase, he's serious, he's rational, he tries to take a different approach, but sometimes he's just not positive. And you should be positive. You should try to be positive at all. Just try. He's too negative, I think. I think he's too negative. He said, well, if the United States makes drugs legal, there's no point for Bitcoin anymore. It might not have been that extreme, but it was close to that extreme. And that's just not true. That's not just, first of all, to even think that Donald Trump is going to make drugs, to make drugs, all drugs legal, or any president in the year 2016 to 2020, or make all drugs legal all of a sudden without any government regulation or anything like that. You can just buy heroin on the street. It's just that's not going to happen in the next 4 years in any Western country even. So that's not going to happen. But even if that happened, there would still be a point for Bitcoin. Come out to Zimbabwe, look for yourself what I'm seeing every day. Again, you look at the looks of these people waiting in line to get money. They're broken people. They need another alternative to the banking system. This is a serious thing. I can only imagine what's going on in India now when they're cutting down on cash. And that's 1 billion people. We have a certain perspective in the United States, and it's not a worldly perspective. When we start talking about aliens instead of talking about Bitcoin, that Donald Trump is going to have secrets of aliens released or could. Absolutely ridiculous. So go. And the one thing about politics that I wanted to bring up that's very important is that shows short-term thinking and long-term thinking, because that goes back to cryptocurrency, okay? Because here in cryptocurrency world, Bitcoin world, we have a lot of people that should be long-term thinkers, but just go back to short-term thinking. And it just seems like it's natural in human beings to just fall back on short-term thinking. It's an easy excuse. And my whole thing is think long-term, think long-term, think long-term here. And what's going on in the United States today with some young people, they're saying that for some reason they hate Donald Trump so much, even though they shouldn't care who the president is. They should take care of their own lives. That they want the electoral college eliminated. That's one thing. But another thing is that in this current cycle, they want the electors to just say, "Oh no, we're not going to do what we're supposed to do. We were picked to pick Donald Trump. We're going to pick Hillary Clinton," and to try to bribe these people. In fact, now that's illegal, and so say what you will about laws and everything. You can't bribe electors to change their votes. But secondly, if they do this, if this actually happened, and it's not going to happen, because he got a lot more electoral votes than this, so a lot of electors would have to be bribed. And electors don't change their votes very often. It's like one every 40 years or something at average. I mean, it's so rare, and it's usually a mistake. And I'm not even going to get into all that aspect of it. But it sets a precedent. It's a short-term solution. It's a silly short-term solution. And then and what does it do long-term? So then every election, you can bribe electors, and the whole election doesn't matter. And you just live in a banana republic. And not only that, there's the other option, like this time around, if you bribe the electors, and they say, okay, yeah, we're just going to change our mind here, and set a new precedent. Well, what's stopping all the generals in the United States Army to say, well, you know what? The electors did something totally illegal, so we're going to do something totally illegal now, and we're going to have a military coup, and we're going to be in charge now. Because again, that's just as banana republic third world as bribing electors. So this is the problem with the world today, and with most people, and why you, with Bitcoin, should be a long-term thinker and think it all out. Think the entire process out. Not just like, oh, shoot, Bitcoin's down $10 today. I better go buy Zcash. It's going up. Of course, that's the answer. That's how these people that say, oh, let's bust in a local business. It'll show that I hate Donald Trump. Well, then that local business has to pay high bills the next day, and they might go away, and you won't have a local business in your neighborhood anymore. Again, so it's long-term thinking, short-term thinking. Most people are just irrational short-term thinkers. Think long-term. I've actually linked to an article by Carl Denninger that kind of talks about how silly this elector, canceling out the electors or bribing the electors is. It's because the people who control the food that gets into the city could say, all these people in the city have done this thing that we don't like. We're just going to shut down business in the city. I mean, it just starts a chain of events that is very third world, and you don't really want to start off a certain chain of events just because you're a short-term thinker, because the long-term consequences are horrible. Anyway, remember, at the end of this month, I'm speaking at the Harare, Zimbabwe Bitcoin conference, bitcoinsummerschool.com. I'm BitcoinMeister. See you later.